Okay, now we've got our database created. It's got the employee table and the department table, and neither of these tables have any data in them yet. So what I want to do is write some SQL to actually add or insert rows into these tables. Now, just for clarity, I did remove the primary attribute that I had added before, just for simplicity's sake. So I've got my script to create it. Now I wanted to create a script to load the database. So I'm going to create a new empty field here, and I'm just going to put the name of this thing, which will be employee, if I can only type, depart, D-E-P-A-R-M-E-N-T, create. I'm a terrible typist. I hit the backspace key more than any other. And always in your SQL you should put your name, so like so. Okay, now I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to save the file with this name on it like that. It'll be next to my employee department. Whoops, this should be named employee department load because we're going to load records in it. My mistake. So we'll name it load. Okay, now what we want to do is write insert statements, and we'll do the department table first. So insert and into, and then the name of the table, department. It's already got the name there. I press tab and it fills it in for me. Now, the department table has two fields, the ID and the name. Remember that we created the ID as an auto increment field. That means if I don't supply a value for it, MySQL will. So I'm going to leave it out. I want to supply a value only for the name field. So in parentheses, I give a list of the fields that I want to supply. The list is only one entry in it, so it's name. And now I put in a values clause here, more parens, and now the value I want to be in it. So let's name it marketing. And that's it. That will insert one record into the table. Some people like to format their insert statements like this. That's fine with me. The beautifier won't have much effect on this. So let's copy that, and we'll add another department now named sales or something like that. And maybe a third department called, I'm just copying and pasting here, shipping and receiving. So let's name it like that. I've got up to 45 characters. And let's get some of these blank lines out of here so it's a little more compact. Now, if I run this now, it will create these three records in the table. And let's wrap this little bit of SQL up with a select star from department so we can list out the fields that we've added. So let's go ahead and run this script. And here we have our select statement that shows the values that we put in the table. The auto increment got set to 1, 2, and 3. So that's cool. So now let's go do the employee table. We've got a problem at this point. If I start doing this, the insert statement, if I run the thing, I'm going to try and put marketing, sales, and these. I'm going to try and run these again. And I don't want to do that. Oh, I can't do it here, and let me prove it. If I try to run this one right now, it added them onto the end, and we don't want that happening. So what I'm going to do is simply run my create script to wipe out the whole database and all my tables, and just run it again, and now I'm back to being empty, but now I can run the script again. But let's go ahead and do some insert statements for employee. And for this one, I'm just going to copy and paste it from another window I have over here so you don't have to watch me type, which is, I know, torture. So insert into employee, first name, last name, hire date, department. Just like with the department table, I left out the ID because I want MySQL to just assign names to it. For the department ID field, I picked a 1 value here for the hire date, 2/16, and my name. This 1 is a foreign key and will point to the marketing, which says I work in the marketing table. If I wanted to be in shipping, I could change this to a 2, for example. So let's copy this down here, and we'll say employee. And let's run this thing, and we should see the contents of the department table and of the employee table. So I'll run it. Here's my department table, but look, I didn't get an employee table. Did I get an error? Let's open up the output window and see what happened. Unknown column department ID in the field list. Oh, well, I must have misspelled something. And I think I did, because in the earlier example, let's close this window, I had named the field, when I ran through this sort of as rehearsal, I had named the field department. It needs to have an underscore here. Look, I made a mistake. Everybody does it. So the beauty of this is, if you screw things up, you can come back in, recreate the database. It'll get wiped out, and now you can come back and run your load script again. Let me get this out of the way, and let's clear this and run the thing. Now I got all green, and in my two tables, here's my employee table with my department ID. Here's my department with its 3 records, and normally, you know, I would add more of these. So the beauty of this business of being able to drop and recreate the database in a few seconds is, when you're doing your load, you can create a couple records, especially important in your project, and then you can get this working a little bit. Then you can add a bunch of other employee records, drop and recreate the database, and run your load script again. So that ability to drop and recreate is really important in developing databases. So, you know, this silly little statement right here will save you an enormous amount of time, but be able to drop the database and recreate it in the blink of an eye. So that's how you start out with a diagram and move forward to a real database with records inside the table.